Hi and welcome to this video lesson. In the Sarusi Trainings Academy, you have been familiarized with what it means to implement a social innovation in the rural context. You have been introduced to the concept of design thinking to design an inclusive social innovation project. You have been introduced to ways on how to measure the impact of your intervention, and you will now learn about how to design a socially, economically and ecologically sustainable intervention. To do so, we will introduce you to the circular economy concept as well as the concept of open innovation. And in the third lecture video of this module, you will get introduced to the RAIN model, a tool that helps you design your innovation in a sustainable way. First of all, we want to look at the concept of sustainability. We can think about the concept of sustainability as having three dimensions: an ecological one, an economic one, and a social one. Obviously, for social innovations, social sustainability is at the core. They strive for a more socially just society and for more social inclusion. However, also the economic dimension has relevance. For example, social businesses have to generate not only social welfare, but also economic benefits, as they are striving for implementing their activities with independence. So what about the ecological dimension of sustainability? Well, today we live in a socio-economic system that is based on linear value chains. That means we are extracting resources. With these resources, we are producing goods and services and products. These products we are using, and after using them for a certain period of time, we dispose of them. Commonly we refer to that as a throwaway society. So if you have a broken window screen on your smartphone, you throw it away, and it is treated as waste, more or less. This comes with the problem that our piles of waste get bigger and bigger, and our CO2 emissions are also rising because we have to dispose of the waste in some form, for example by burning it. Now, the circular economy concept introduces a different notion. It tries to shift the linear value chains with a more holistic approach and tries to introduce a circular approach that, for example, recycles and reuses. To do this, we have to think in two ways. First of all, we have to introduce governance and business models that are more open and more inclusive. You will learn about that in the next lecture video on open innovation, but also in the lecture video on the RAIN module. Second, we really have to look how can we implement circular economy in the process cycle of a product. For this, we can use the 4R model. The 4R model consists of reduce, reuse, restore, and recycle. Let's look at the 4R model with a concrete example, the phone. First of all, we need raw materials. We need to extract, for example, copper in order to produce the phone. Applying the 4R model, we have to look, for example, how can we reduce as much as possible the natural resources that we use to produce the phone. Second, when manufacturing the actual phone, we have to look how we can reduce the resources that we actually use to produce a phone and what resources or which materials and which parts we could actually reuse. So we have to see how circularity can come into this step of manufacturing. Third, when using it, we should have a good supportive system in place that allows for repairing and also reusing different parts of phones in order to extend the lifespan of product use. This means actually already in the manufacturing process looking to build it as robust as possible and to have a supportive framework for repair process in place. And fourth, when actually disposing of the product because it's beyond repair, for example, then we have to have good recycling and reuse processes in place and see that most of the parts of the phone are reused when manufacturing new ones. So focusing on this 4R process shows us that there are a lot of entry points for circular economy and circular economy business models in the value chain and in the framework of developing products and services. Also shows that there are a lot of potentials for social innovation, because what we just described has a lot of implications for social services and how we organize our society and how we organize our production modes. So this means circular economy cannot just be an isolated business case, but it's also about changing interactions of stakeholders, of actors, changing how communities, businesses, organizations, and public authorities work together to transform the value chain. An example how all this could work in a project is the Solar Taxi Heidenrechstein. We have prepared a video with the founder of the Solar Taxi in this module. To sum up, circular economy can really help improving the value proposition of your project or business. The concept of value proposition you have already been familiarized with in Module 2 of the Zerusi Trainings Academy. How to take aspects of circular economy into account when designing your project or business will be the topic of lecture video 3 on the RAIN concept.